Coming up next, I'll tell you how to recession-proof your career, and I'll teach you a lesson from one of the great American battles. We'll take your calls and your chats, and it all starts right now. I am coming to you live from Ramsey Studios in Nashville. You are joining a conversation about who you are, what you were created to do, where you want to do it, and how you can get there. It's all about you because you were created to fill a unique role. You were needed, and you must do it. And that hasn't changed. No crisis, no uncertain moments remove the fact that we were all created to contribute. Through our work, there is a sweet spot. It is at the intersection of what you do best, what you love to do most. It will create your sweet spot. When you're in it, will create results that matter deeply to you. And so I know that some of you have lost your job, whether it be being laid off or furloughed. But I'm telling you, this may be, if you allow it to be, the kick out of the nest that leads to the greatest season of your life. I believe that. That's not Pollyanna positivity. That's just, you get to choose. So I'm very excited to have you. 844-747-2577. If you want to submit your question via the chat room, do it now. Go ahead and put it in now so the team can gather it and they fire it to me here on my computer. So go ahead and do that now. Also, if you're enjoying this program, it's helping you, it's equipping you and encouraging you, please give us a thumbs up right there below the video window. Subscribe to the show and share it with somebody. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be here for you. We're going to help you get where you are supposed to be. Saw a great article from the Association for Talent Development. Amy Denning wrote this article. I just want to touch on a few things here. It's how to recession-proof your career. And I think it's really, really good. And so there's several action items that she points out. I'm going to go through a few of these for you. Because if you can take this season, this moment, and you really reflect on it and say, how do I insulate myself from this happening again? You'll be way ahead of the game. So let's talk through a few of these action items. Number one, she says, build a strong network and keep it alive. Well, I talk about this all the time. What is your web of connections? I write about it in my best-selling book, The Proximity Principle. You are nurturing your web of connections. You are growing your web of connections so that you have options. Number two, she says, have a learning mindset and continually invest in yourself. She's absolutely right. Listen, how can you be learning now? For free. YouTube. Podcasts, books. You can get books for real cheap on Amazon. All right. Audiobooks. How are you learning? Continuously learning, doing something with what you learn in the form of challenging yourself. This is going to make you really valuable and always have the opportunity to pivot because you have something to pivot to. Number three, stand out and be visible within and outside of your company. I love this advice. Now, this is the idea of being really, really valuable. I talk about three things that you can do to always make sure you're advancing. Know your role, that's clarity. Accept your role, that's attitude. Maximize your role, that's effort. So you are very visible within your company because you're always looking for opportunities to go above and beyond what is expected of you. That's that third thing, maximize. That's effort, effort, effort. But also be looking outside the four walls of your company, how you can add value in your industry, outside of your industry. It makes you tremendously valuable and builds that web of connections I just talked about. 4, know your company's priorities so that you can determine how you can contribute to them. Again, this is head up, head on a swivel. What matters to the company now? Where are they going? Where are the leadership taking us? What's the vision? How can I get there? Skate to where the puck is going, Wayne Gretzky said. And then 5, make sure that you're attending external conferences, industry events, professional association meetings. Again, a great point. And this is the way to make sure that you are combining two of the earlier points. Make sure you're continually learning and growing, and then expanding that web of connections. This is doable, folks. You can insulate yourself from some type of massive disruption in the future. So get after it. Now's the time to be planning and even now beginning to execute on your protection plan going forward. 844-747-2577. 844-747-2577 is the number. Again, a reminder, if you want to jump in the chat room with a question, be short, sweet, to the point, and go ahead and put it in the chat window next to the video window. So I think it's this way. Is this way? This way? I don't know. I'm all confused. You're looking at the video window, and the chat room is right there, and it's scrolling along. So fire those questions away. Here's the other thing. When we take the callers, and Ramona is up next, and you want to fire something encouraging or say, hey, I feel that, or I've experienced that, engage and encourage each other. That's what makes this YouTube format so valuable, is that you're watching and listening, but you're also communicating there in the chat room. So here we go. 844-747-2577. Ramona joins us in Olympia, Washington. Ramona, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thank you for taking my phone call.
Sure. How can I help?
I'm only 20 years old, and I only have a high school diploma, and I was wondering, how am I supposed to move up in the company or gain knowledge in the company if I'm not given the opportunity to do so?
Well, who says that you're not going to be given that opportunity?
I've been down in the dumps, and every single time I've applied, I get denied, and they just say that I don't qualify, I don't have the eligible requirements.
And what are they saying are the eligible requirements? A college degree?
No, they're not telling me, actually. They just say the review committee does not think you're eligible.
Okay, and these are positions that you're applying for in your current company?
Correct.
Yeah, I'm just real curious. What are the positions? Give me the last couple that you've applied for.
Human resources, assistant jobs, supervisor maintenance, level 17s, level 15s. Those are the pretty low ones.
Okay.
I am in maintenance right now.
So how many of these have you applied for? Give me a ballpark figure.
Like 15.
15, all in what time span?
A month.
And every time they're saying you're not qualified.
Correct.
Who's they?
Human resources.
Yeah, so here's the deal.
The review committee.
Yeah,
I really don't know.
Well, you do. Yes, you do. You got communication from somebody. Who was it?
It says the review committee.
Oh, okay. Well, here's the deal. You are an employee, so that means you can go talk to HR. You need to go talk to HR, and don't raise a ruckus, and I don't think you will. I think you sound as sweet as you can be. But you need to go to HR and say, hey, listen, I'm already in the building, and I want to move up. I'm showing hunger. Can I just get some specific feedback? I'm not here to complain. I just want to be able to address the gaps, the holes in my qualifications. You don't take no for an answer. Just say, okay, hey, I accept that I'm not qualified now. What can I do to be qualified? Can you tell me? Somebody in HR will tell you that. There is someone specific, maybe a couple people who have access to that information, and you're just saying, I'm not here to debate and argue. I'm actually here to get equipped with information that will allow me to go get the experience and qualifications that I need, or gives me better perspective that if I'm here longer and I stay in this maintenance position for 6 more months, now all of a sudden I've met the requirement. You just need information, because right now you're just kind of walking around blind, and that's not fun, right?
Right.
Okay, good. Now here's the other thing. Can I share a fun little fact, Ramona?
Sure.
I don't have a college degree.
Wow. Yeah, my parents, they're really pushing me to go to college, but then they tell me, because this job is federal, so they're telling me, hey, don't leave it because it's a good company, a good job, and it's federal. But then they're pushing me to get my degree and go somewhere else, and I'm just
What do you want to do?
stuck.
What do you want to do?
I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
I really don't know.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Ramona, I'm your friend. Do you believe that?
Sure.
Do you trust me?
Yes.
You trusted me enough to call me.
True.
Can we dream for a minute?
Sure.
Okay, Ramona. I just don't believe that you've never had a thought. You've never wondered. You've never wondered about something, a future. You've never dreamed. I don't believe that about you. Because every human has a dream. Every human. Now, Ramona, let's have some fun. This is you and me. I'm not your parents. I'm not going to pressure you to do something you don't want to do. I'm not going to go off on some rant. I am here for you. You are the reason that I am on the planet right now. Do you hear me?
Yes.
I'm not going anywhere right now. I am all about
Okay.
Ramona. Now, Ramona, what we have to discuss is what you really want to do so that we can figure out what steps we need to take. I'm not even thinking about this current federal job. Now, if I guaranteed you, Ramona, that you could not fail, you would be guaranteed to be successful, and you wouldn't even have to commit because you're only 20. So I get the fact that you've still got a lot of things to discover, and I get that. But there's something in your head and heart that's been bouncing around. Even if it was from 2 years ago or when you were 11 years old, whatever. Something's in your head. And you've been afraid to say it. Maybe you're still afraid to say it right now. So that's why I'm building you up and building you up and building you up. So Ramona, if I gave it to you tomorrow, a fun adventure, you just get to try it. Don't have to commit to it long term, but you knew you couldn't fail. What would you do during the day to get paid? What would be awesome for you?
To me, I really wanted to be a lawyer. The only thing holding me back on that is I don't want to go to school forever.
Okay, hold on. Let's stop. See, you just told me something, Ramona. 2 minutes ago, you said, I don't know. You do. Now, let's forget school and how long and how much it's going to cost. I want you to tell me why you've always wanted to be a lawyer. And here's the answer that I'm looking for. I want you to tell me who you most want to help by being a lawyer. What problems they have that you want to solve. Go.
I think maybe criminal, because I like to argue.
Okay. Go keep going deeper. Allow it. This is awesome. Criminal defense or no, yes, you do. Don't say that. You're not allowed to say that, Ramona, because you told me you didn't know earlier and you do know. Is it criminal defense or is it prosecuting criminals?
I think criminal defense.
Yeah. Why? There's a reason for that from your story. What is it? Why do you want to defend people who've been accused of a crime?
Because I've had something happen to me personally, and that person was not prosecuted.
Yes.
The way.
Yes. Ramona, that's a lie. Do you get that now? You have been the victim of injustice, and that has shaped you. And it has created a place in your heart where you say, that's not cool. And here's the fun part. You really like to debate. I bet you're pretty good at it too, yes or no?
I say so.
Well, wait a second. I'll bet a lot of other people, if I interviewed them, I'd say, hey, is Ramona pretty good at debate and communication and kind of making a case? And is she pretty persuasive? What would they say?
Yes.
Uh-oh. So, Ramona, we look at, is being a criminal defense attorney in your sweet spot? We look at what you do best. You're a good communicator, yes or no?
Yes.
You're very persuasive, yes or no?
Yes.
You're very driven towards justice, yes or no?
Yes.
All right, let's look at what you love to do most. You like a good, feisty debate to fight for right, yes or no?
Yes.
You like to do the research and dive into the details and figure out the mystery and put a case together and present it so that people go, oh, yes or no?
Yes.
How do I know these things, Ramona? I've never talked to you before in my life. How is it possible that I know these things?
I don't know.
Yeah. Here it is. You gave me all the answers earlier. See, when we look at what we want to do, all we have to now do is go back and say, are we delusional? Or are we absolutely crystal clear and we look at what we do best, Ramona, because that's what you will use. Your strengths and talents, your hard skills and soft skills, you'll use those things to do the work that you love, to create a result that matters deeply to you. If I guaranteed you that you would be a successful criminal defense attorney and you would help justice happen on the other side of the aisle and protect people from maybe destroying their lives long term by maybe lessening their punishment and making the case, whatever it is, whatever is driving that. If you knew you were going to be successful at that, how excited would you be?
Really excited.
Okay, then. So what you're worried about is the schooling part. But what if your why was always at the forefront? Every time you had to study for a class, every time you had to write a paper, every time you had to work that second or third job, or every time you looked up and go, well, I'm 2 or 3 years away from being able to get into law school, but I know my why. If you had your why in front of you all day long, don't you think you could do what it takes?
I guess.
Ramona, don't you think you could do what it takes?
Yes.
Okay, now listen. This is a gut check for you. This is gut check time. This is Ramona willing to do and wait as long as it takes? That's what it boils down to. Now here's what I want you to know. You can study your head off. And if you get a good enough LSAT, you can go to law school for free. And you could take the LSAT 3 or 4 times. You say, well, can it cost money every time? Yeah, but you can go make that money and save up. You're only 20 years old. You can do that. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. I want you to hang on the line. Madison, here's what I want you to do. You know who I want you to connect her with? Our good friend that was on the show. He's got a book. He's got this guy, Andy Brink. Thank you. Andy was on how they got there. And Andy has got a book. And Madison, I want to give her that. And anybody who wants to go to law school for free, email ask@kencoleman.com right now. Ask@kencoleman.com. Madison will send you this ebook that Andy wrote and has authorized me to give it away. And I'm telling you, this guy has figured it out. It's all about test scores. You get the right LSAT test score. There are law schools all around the country. They may not be name brand law schools, but it doesn't matter. No one's ever going to ask you to show them your law degree. They just need a lawyer. And if you're willing to go to a smaller school and get that law degree, you can go for free because they're trying to crank lawyers out of their law school. You can go for free or very, very reduced based on your test score. Well, Ken, I'm not a good test taker. Get a tutor. Figure it out. Take the stinking LSAT 7 times. I don't care. It's all about getting there, not how we got there. This can happen. 844-747-2577. I took extra time with Ramona. You know why? Because I'm here for the Ramonas. Ramona called about one thing, and she's not focused on the big thing. Get focused on the big thing. Let's get after that. A day job's a day job. Nothing wrong with a day job. It keeps you stable and it prepares you for the future. Let's go next to Boynton Beach, Florida, where Kathy joins us. Kathy, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. How can I help?
Well, I've just recently relocated. I've been looking for jobs. I have 21 years experience with the last company I came from, and I can't seem to be chosen for a position, even though I've gone on many interviews. So I'm feeling very unhireable, and I'm getting discouraged. I'm trying not to.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to know, too, like, is this something that I should look into going to college and getting a degree for? Is it worth my time? Is it going to be beneficial for me at my age?
Well, does the degree guarantee you entry?
Well, if I knew what I wanted to go for, possibly,
so we have a bigger problem. Okay, yeah. So my answer is no. We're not even going to discuss school right now. The only way I would tell you to go to school is if you had to have the degree to get into the dance. Right? It's the price of admission,
Gotcha.
and I don't know that that's true. So if you have 2 issues, A, you don't know what you want to do, and B, you're feeling unhireable because you've gone on a few interviews. So I want to take on that unhireable thing first, because that's a notion that is wrong, and I'm going to prove it to you that it's wrong. I think you're going about it the wrong way, but let's see if that's true. Tell me about how many interviews you've been on that we're talking about.
I've been on about four or five interviews.
Okay.
But I've applied for 40 jobs.
Yeah, well, but you're probably doing that wrong too. We'll get to that in a moment. So I'm dead serious. I'm almost positive, I'm not for sure yet, but I'm almost positive you're going about it the wrong way. But let's just see. So of the 4 interviews that you've done, are they all for a similar position or very different positions, different industries?
They were similar.
Okay.
And I went with the experience I already had.
And you had a lot of experience. So it's not an experience issue. Because you were applying for things, you have a lot of experience that was relevant.
Right.
Okay. All right. Tell me how you applied and how you got the job interviews and then what information you got. Give it to me real quick, 30 seconds.
Okay. I went on Indeed.com, found the jobs there. I applied. Then I had them contact me, went for the interview.
In person?
Came out feeling good, yes,
okay.
In person.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling good about it. Okay. Once I left, and then it's no, feeling like they were ready to hire me right there.
What feedback did you get?
I didn't really. They just, the emails they would send were like, we're pursuing forward with another candidate.
Gotcha. Okay, so you're out there competing.
Like, okay.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Did you know anybody? Did you have a personal connection in any of those companies of the 4 interviews you did?
No, I've just recently relocated here, so I don't have that type of connection.
But that's what has to happen. That's what has to happen.
Right.
Now listen, Kathy, I'm not telling you that you can't figure this out. You can figure out how to do this. I'm going to tell you how. I just basically did. Okay. But you're not unhireable. You're just competing and you don't have the same advantage. You got beat out by somebody, I'll guarantee it. Somebody that was either very, very similar and maybe they had a little bit more experience or they had some little small competitive advantage, or more likely you got beat out by somebody that had a connection to somebody in the building.
Right.
That's usually what's going on.
Sense.
It's absolutely true. By the way, this isn't my opinion. We know from sociology research, and I can just tell you from Ramsey Solutions standpoint, people that get hired here almost always know somebody in the building.
Right.
And so you've got let's just say you've got equal candidates. Experience is there, skill sets there. Let's say the interviews go pretty darn similar. And it comes down to, well, we've got this endorsement from somebody in the building who just thinks that George is really an awesome guy. Boy, we like Kathy too, but my goodness, George has got this great endorsement from somebody in the building that really has a relationship with us. I just think it's going to come down to that.
Right.
Now, here's the deal.
Okay.
Whether I'm right or wrong as to what happened doesn't matter. My advice is that a resume is worthless without a relationship. It got you an interview because you've got experience, but you're not closing the deal. And the reason you're not closing the deal is you don't have anybody championing you in the building. That's what my point is.
Right.
All right. Now, what is it that you'd really love to do if I guaranteed you couldn't fail? And you just said, okay, this is fun. Ken just guaranteeing me good money and great results. I don't have to commit to it the rest of my life. I get to just go, whee, and go for something. What is it, Kathy, you'd like to do at the next season of your work life?
I would love to be a photographer, and I'd love to be a food photographer because I love to cook.
Interesting.
And I do that with my own stuff. But is that gainful employment?
Can be. Can be.
Okay.
It's not going to be right away. How much money do you need to make, Kathy? What's a great number? What do you make right now, or what were you making?
I was only making about $30 a year.
Oh, please.
With my last job.
Please, Kathy. A successful photographer can do way more than $30,000 a year.
Okay.
Now, here's the deal. Is the best thing to do is start, start taking only food photographs right now? No, I think you should diversify. I think you should. Yeah, but here's my point. So you need to get a job. Okay, so what you need to do is you need to go to kencoleman.com. Have you downloaded all 3 of my Get Hired guides, the resume, the interview, and the touch point timeline?
Yes, actually, like how to win the interview is what I used before I went to my interview. So I did do all those things, and I did know a lot of the things that were in there. So yeah, I do have that.
So here's the deal. Do you have my best-selling book, The Proximity Principle?
I actually do.
Have you read it?
Started that. I've just started on that.
Good.
So
that's the missing piece.
I'm trying to figure it because I listen to your podcast.
Thank you.
I'm like,
Thank you.
Learning from that.
Well, listen, I'm glad you called, but listen, now that you got the book, do it. Because that's the deep dive. That's how you get jobs, is opportunities find you. You're not out submitting resumes. You're out connecting, and people go, Kathy, I got something for you. I think it'd be a great fit. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
Do you want opportunity to knock on your door, or are you out trying to kick doors down? Which is the better play?
Well, I'd like for them to knock on my door.
Well, you got the book, so read it and do it. Now, listen, there's a specific chapter in the last section of the book called Web of Connections, and you need to be focusing on that on top of everything else. Your current web of connections is small in Boynton Beach, I know, but you have connections all around the country. So just dive into that book and digest it and do it, and I'm telling you, you're going to win. I guarantee it. If you do what I teach in the book, and I give you action steps at the end of every chapter, do it, it will win. You're so close. But let me also encourage you, go get the day job, which gives you stability right now, and immediately start your own photography company and get a Facebook page, an Instagram page, and start putting those photos up there and be willing to do funerals. I mean, not funerals, good grief. Sorry. Jeez, what a Freudian slip. Do you think the coronavirus may have just jumped in on me there? Wow. I meant to say weddings and birthday parties and anything you can do. Thank you. Okay. Just take pictures of anybody. Senior pictures.
And I do that a lot, yeah.
Good. But here's the deal. Start charging and build up that bank account. And before you know it, you might have 6 months of your expenses put aside.
Yep.
And then start the food thing. So there's no reason for you not to be pursuing being a photographer. Get on YouTube and watch every video you can on how to do lighting and the right kind of cameras and how to do it for less. And all this stuff. Get on photography podcasts and read photography books and everything you can. And I'm telling you, while you're doing that and you're using the proximity principle to get the day job, you're launching the dream job. Kathy, we got a plan.
Nice. Thank you so much.
You're awesome.
I appreciate it.
You are awesome. I want to hear back from you, Kathy. Madison, make sure that Kathy hears this. I want to hear back from her when she steps into that photography job full time. That's going to be a great dream scream right there. 844-747-2577. My goodness, Joe, I just looked up. I'm going long with the callers today, but they need more help. So I got to make a decision. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go into speed version of Ken Coleman Show. I want to get to a couple of quick questions in the chat room. I've got to teach you on this lesson from one of the great American battles. All right? That's what we're going to do. Here we go. We got a lot of questions coming in here. Just got to pick one real quick. Jasmine S. I'm currently working as a contracts and grants analyst, and I make about $80,000 a year. Way to go, Jasmine. I'm thinking about going back to school for a data analytics boot camp. It will be for 6 months and cost about $12,000. Should I do it? Well, it's going to come down to two things, Jasmine. And if the answer to these two questions is yes, then I say go for it. Question number one. Can you cash flow it? Can you cash flow it? If you can cash flow it, you don't go into debt on this. I like it. But here's the ultimate question. Would getting that data analytics boot camp certification or whatever that's going to be, is that going to qualify you for the next step or the big giant step? And if the answer is yes, then get after it. Let's see. Bethany Chu, is it beneficial to work at an enterprise company, Apple, Microsoft, etc., short-term doing a role that doesn't build the skills to get the dream role, but the role is related to the dream role? Okay, I think I understand what you're saying. And again, short-term, if it gets you that qualification, because it looks like it does, it's not building skills, but it's related to the dream role, and maybe it's short-term financially for you, you need the money right now, yes, go for it. Absolutely. 844-747-2577. I don't know if we're going to get back to the calls. We'll see how this goes. I'm pretty fired up about this lesson, Joe. Full disclosure, big history nerd. All right? But hang with me here, because what I'm about to share with you isn't just a history lesson. It applies to you, many of you, right now. So one of the great American battles, probably one of the most famous battles, largely because Abraham Lincoln referred to it, and on the scene of the battlefield, the Gettysburg Address. But the Battle of Gettysburg is one of the great American battles because out of it came a unlikely hero by the name of Joshua Chamberlain, who was a school teacher from Maine, and he was leading a division of men from Maine. And he is in a all-important strategic place of the Battle of Gettysburg. He's got the high ground, and yet the Union Army did not have the best position, and they were at a disadvantage. On paper, the Confederate Army had the advantage, and it looked bad for the Union Army. And Joshua Chamberlain is a lieutenant colonel, and so here he is in an all-important position. He doesn't have backup. And I won't go through the whole story. You can go do your own research. You can go watch the movie. He does a wonderful job of creating the intensity of the moment. Joshua Chamberlain is having to lead a group of men, and they've got a lot coming at them. And they find out that if they don't hold their position on that hill, bad things are going to happen in this battle. Bad things are going to happen for the Union Army. Massive pressure, tons of uncertainty. Are they going to be able to hold it? Don't know, but they've got to hold it. Did you hear that? Let me repeat that. This is what Joshua Chamberlain and his men are dealing with. You have got to hold the line. We don't have backups. You have got to hold the line. If you fail and you don't protect this hill, this position right now, tragedy, destruction, really bad things are going to happen. How many of you are in that situation right now? You're in a tough financial situation, tough emotional situation, whether you got friends and family that are struggling or friends that are desperate, family members that are relying on you. You're leading a company, leading a team of people that are going to get laid off or have already been laid off, or you're going to have to make some tough decisions in the days ahead. You don't want to lay people off, but you may have to keep the company going, whatever the situation is. It's serious, serious stuff. And in battle, it's life or death. In this situation, for you, it's still momentous. It's financial devastation or emotional breaks, whatever it is. This is a big moment right now. Don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen next week. And you're focused on all of these things. How am I going to hold the line? Don't you think Joshua Chamberlain's going, I've got a limited amount of men. I'm going to lose some men in this deal. They're charging. They're coming at us. I don't have any backup. I'm outnumbered. What am I going to do? How am I going to do it? These things are racing in his mind. And at some point, he just gets to the point where he goes, I've got to hold the line. I've got to lead these men. The only thing I can control right now is doing the best I can do to give our unit a chance to hold this position. What do I have to believe? What do I have to say? What do I have to do as a leader in this moment? That's what he's thinking. As we know from history, he took that resolve and he led, and they held the line. And he's a hero to this day. So what's the lesson from the Battle of Gettysburg? What's the lesson that we can learn from Joshua Chamberlain? You're in a battle right now. You're in a battle for your bank account. You're in a battle for your emotional wellness. You're in a battle for your future. You're in a battle for your family. You're in a battle for your health. I don't know what your battle is. And even outside of the coronavirus crisis, we're going to face battles. And when you're in a battle and you've got bullets flying at you, the enemy's coming after you, and you don't know how you're going to get there, but you know one thing, you've got to win this battle. Losing your battle is not an option. When you get to that moment in your life, I don't care what you're facing in any area of your life, financially, in your career, in your emotions, in your physical situation, your spiritual situation, relationships, I don't care what it is. Whatever the battle is, you've got to say, I am going to hold the line. I'm going to take a stand. I don't know all of the variables, but I know this. The battle's now. I can't be worried about tomorrow. Do you think Joshua Chamberlain was thinking about what he was going to eat at dinner that night? No. You think he was thinking about what his friends were doing and what his general might think? No, he wasn't. What was he thinking about? That hill, that line, that moment. The men surrounding him that he had to lead. That's what he's thinking about. And so I want to leave that with you today. You're in a battle. Stop worrying and thinking and fretting about tomorrow, next week, next month, next year. Think about today. What do you have to do to win today? That's a minute by minute, hour by hour mindset. Tomorrow has enough worries. It'll take care of itself. Win today. And then the next day, get up and win that day. That's the battle. And that's the mindset. Hold the line. What's your hill? What do you have to defend? Put all of your focus in that. I like your chances. Our time is almost up. But before I let you go, you matter. And you do have what it takes. I promise. You can win that battle. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, this is the Ken Coleman Show. Press on!